Welcome to the Wellness Help Desk with your host, Michaela Modi, certified wellness coach and personal trainer. A wellness podcast focused on providing practical tips on how to curate a healthy lifestyle uniquely for you, where we discuss wellness hot topics with expert guests and have real candid conversations. It's the one-stop shop you need to get the help you've been looking for. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of the Wellness Help Desk. I'm Michaela Modi. So excited for you to be listening in. And before we jump into today's episode, life update, y'all. So recently I was diagnosed with psoriasis, and recently being just last week. And I have just been spending the last, 4 or 5 days trying to process all of that and just help change my mindset towards healing and supporting my body. And so today I went and saw sozothermography, and it's basically this type of imaging that provides you with 100% safe picture of your health through thermal images. And so it will reveal any abnormalities that could be related to injuries, physiological changes, inflammation, and more. And that was just so insightful. So I'm so happy that I went and got it done. It's literally been on my list of goals for my health for a year and a half now. So I'm just so grateful that I finally got to go and have that done, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect. And I'm also going to see a naturopathic doctor on Thursday. So I'm so excited to be able to have the access to the knowledge and tools that are holistic health and holistic healing. And even when, the Western medical system gaslights you, it's so empowering to know that there's other options than the medications and creams that they push on you. So that's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother day, but we will get there. So I am so excited to talk about today's episode. So this honestly was inspired by a SZA song. I think it's SZA, the artist SZA. There is a line in one of her songs that she says, and it's like, "Ooh, no, she didn't. Ooh, yes, I did. Ooh, no, she didn't. I'll do it again." And it just inspired this whole topic that I'm talking about today. And I first want to prompt you with, how do you respond when others are so taken aback by your boundaries or your goals or your dreams? Like they just are just so shocked by it. Like, do you allow for it to pierce you deeply or to repel off and you just keep it moving? And so many people, when I think about it, had opinions on how I should care and support my mom. However, no one was going to live with that decision but me. And I didn't have that realization until my mentor at the time, back in 2020, really made that statement to me, because I was faced with this decision when I moved back to Ohio to care for my mom. How would that look like? And she just reminded me to think about the effect of my decision 10 years forward. So she basically asked me, would you be bitter and resentful towards your siblings while they were living a life with their spouses and kids and you were taking care of your mom? Or would you have peace and be okay with that? And it was a question that I needed to think about prior to relocating to Ohio. And then even after, I moved to Ohio, family had a lot of opinions after I moved back, just how I should care for my mom. And again, thank the Lord for my therapist at the time that reminded me that I live with the sum of my decisions, not my family. And so fast forward to this present day, and I'm so happy that I decided to make decisions based on meeting my needs first and asking myself what I wanted. And in the midst of my mom's Alzheimer's, whenever I was caregiving for her, she would still remind me that I needed to live my life. It was time for me to start my own family. It was my time. And in those moments when I saw my mom, like who she was before the Alzheimer's kind of peeped through in those moments, it just reminded me how she always wanted the best for my siblings and I. She always sacrificed for us to have better and to be able to accept opportunities that she didn't or wasn't able to growing up. And so I want to really talk about today why it's so important for you to not let others' opinions change your decisions. Okay, so and how to approach this when it happens. Because I've been on the opposite end of following through and holding to my decision. And I'm so grateful that I did. And I did not go with what was recommended or what other people's opinions or projections or fears that they were throwing at me. Honestly, the first thing that I feel is foundational in this is having self-trust and being grounded in your values. So do you trust yourself and the decisions that you make? And this, honestly, if you don't have it, you'll have to grow in your self-trust over time in decisions over and over and over. And being grounded in your values, do you even know what your top 5 values are? Like being grounded in those and knowing that you make decisions based on your values. Because the confidence in the decisions that you make comes from being secure in your decision. Because you already know your decision is not only rooted in your values, but that you trust yourself in the decision that you're making, but you also know how it will impact you in the short and long term. So people have opinions, and that's all it is an opinion. Opinion is just a thought that they're having about your circumstance, right? They don't know your vision. They don't know your goals. They don't know the things that you want to do and the time you want to do it. They don't know how you want your life to go, and they don't know that you don't want to end up like them. Like, I feel like sometimes people, do you ever wonder if they think like, maybe they don't want to end up like me, so they're trying to do things different than the way I did it? I don't know. But take pride in knowing that you know what you want. You know who you are and where you're going. And that's why you're able to make the decisions that you make with confidence and so much self-trust. Now, this is totally different from having the humility to hear others' opinions or wise advice. Again, my therapist gave me wise advice. My mentor offered her own forthcoming opinion. But remember that people care about you. And that's why a lot of the questioning and kind of like they want to bring this forth of a safety net towards you in their questioning or in their objections or in their forthcoming projections. And that's most of the time where it's coming from, a place of care and concern, and they just love you. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about not letting other people's insecurities and fears or projections stop you from the decision that you know is in alignment with where you're going, your values, and also that you just trust the decision that you're making. So another example I think about is when I got a second job. Like, there are some people who totally did not understand why I got a second job. They were like, why did you get a second job? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you add more stress to yourself? You know, all these different things. But they didn't understand the vision that I had for myself. They didn't know that for the last year, I've been reading financial books and listening to financial podcasts and working with a money coach. And I just wanted to aggressively get out of debt and be done with it in a shorter amount of time. They didn't know that I had an 8-year plan, and one that would put me on track to be able to work where I want to work, when I wanted to work, and how I wanted to work. And that I didn't want to be 40 and hating my job or hating my life. And that I was on a plan to bring myself financial stability and also time freedom. And so they didn't have the inner knowings that I had. They just were projecting whatever they were internally going through or thinking through and hearing that I got a second job and unleashing that on me. And if I had listened to other people's fears or projections or insecurities, I would not be on the path that I'm on right now. There's just so much goodness happening in my life presently, both internally and externally, that I am so proud of me. I'm so proud of me that I held to the decisions to honor the commitments to myself, and that I allowed for myself to make these decisions that were in alignment with my values. So I want to encourage you to have enough self-trust in your decisions and who you are and where you're going. You're going to be the one that has to live with the sum of your decisions, no one else. So do not allow for them to come in and steal that from you. Hold to what you've decided and have confidence in that decision, because guess what? You made that decision from a place of self-trust, and that's in alignment with where you're going, what you want, and who you are. There's something that I heard life coach Brooke Castillo say on her podcast once, and it has stuck with me. It was along the lines of, when you're going to make a decision, like the reasons for your decision and make it. Regardless of the outcome, you like your reasons, detach from the outcome. And that has helped me so much in making decisions. I like my reasons for my decisions because I know that I'm making them from that place of self-trust in alignment with my values and where I'm going and who I am. And regardless of the outcome, I choose to have a growth mindset that I just learn. It's an experience. That's what life is. And I'll keep growing and I'll keep leveling up. And so I want to leave you with that as well. Like the reasons for the decisions that you make and detach from the outcome. In the end, there's always something that you will gain no matter the outcome and no matter the decision that you make. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed the episode today, head over and leave me a review. This helps others find the podcast and be one step closer to curating their healthy lifestyle. Come connect with me over on Instagram at Nike_Lamoti. And if social isn't your thing, join my beautiful newsletter community via the link in the show notes. To learn more about exclusive one-on-one wellness coaching, head over to randawellness.com. As always, remember to give yourself grace.